remember the smell of the incense Murshid used to burn when we went to his meetings. You couldn't separate it from anything, from Murshid, his speech, the people who sought his guidance, anything. Even the bathroom down the hall was like a shrine. The whole life was a sacred mystery pervaded by devotion, and we drank from the cup of a love greater than giving or receiving. Now that cup is broken, but the love which shatters and heals continues to flow. Moinadeen. The strongest experience I had with Murshid Sam was the moment I heard of his passing. I was in the Lama library when Siddiq made the announcement. Immediately, I fell to the ground in Padmasana, the full lotus, and saw and felt a tremendous golden lotus in my heart. From the lotus came a golden liquid light, which connected with the hearts of all of Murshid's disciples and students, a bond unspeakably real. Surya. One of the reasons I am teaching this music and dancing is to increase joy, not awe towards another person, but bliss in our own self. This is finding God within through experience. Sam hears now that his dances are spreading like wildfire. He has no monopoly and no copyright. Heart calls to heart and soul to soul. From the diaries. Let my soul become a flute, beloved, my body a flute of reed. Let my being be aroused in song, and the song become my deed. Let the glory of God assert itself now that I've come so far. Let the music of life come through my mouth, just like a morning star. Let the star prepare the world itself for the coming of the sun. Let the flute assert itself, the music has begun. The empty self, O empty one, may the prayer become the deed. The soul has become a flute, my Lord, my body a flute of reed. Murshid Sam. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for DUP North America's quarterly concentration gathering here on the eve of Murshid Sam's Wars. My name is Jennifer Friedman, and I'm so honored to serve as the Executive Director for DUPNA. And we're so grateful that you've come to join us in this celebration. We gather together to honor and celebrate and give gratitude for the profound gift of the dances of universal peace in our lives. And during this time in our world, it's so important for us to gather and to celebrate our unity and to remember our true natures of love and compassion, which the dances help to remind us of and inspire in us. So we're so grateful to have you. As with all of our quarterly concentration Zoom events, this is indeed a community collaboration. So all of our presenters today are people who shared that they were inspired to be here with us and to offer their blessing with the community. So I had their names on the welcome slide, but I just wanted to say thank you again to Sema Kerry Barley, who lives in Boulder, Colorado, but is currently in New Jersey. We have Amira Judy Jones joining us from Atlanta, Georgia. So honored and delighted to have Pir Shabda Kahn from California with us today. And we have Naomi, NurAna, Wilansky, and Hakam in Normal, Illinois. And then from DUPNA, we have Tajali Tolan, who is the president of our board, and Ayesha Cruz in Portland, Oregon, who's also a board member. So before we begin with our program, and Tajali will share more about the theme for our gathering today, I'd like to invite us to share the invocation together. And I'd really love to have us, well, I was thinking I'd have us on gallery view, just so we could see who is here. Can we do that first, Hayat? Sorry about that.
Yeah, but we didn't discuss whether Tajali would sign, so.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
all right. I'll take off the spotlights.
So how do we, okay.
But I could just spotlight
So I
Tajali.
think let's just go to gallery view and then we'll go back to spotlight. And so let's just take a moment just to share the heart gaze with one another. So just taking this precious opportunity to say hello in the heart space to everyone who's present here. And there's so many beautiful faces. Wow. We can imagine connecting our hearts together and sending love and energy to each and every person, even those who have their screens turned off.
Al Loudon.
Hi,
And just a reminder to stay muted during the program. And I think we'll return to spotlight. So just taking this moment to feel ourselves in this time and space, allowing ourselves to let go of anything that wants to be let go of without any kind of story or judgment. and being fully present for this offering, this celebration, this gratitude. And again, envisioning ourselves in the circle together, holding hands, holding hearts, and taking a deep breath in and releasing it. Another deep breath in and allowing the heart to expand just a little wider. And releasing. Toward the one. The perfection of love, harmony, and beauty. The only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of guidance. Amen. Tajali.
Welcome, everyone. What a blessing it is on this Urs of Murshid Samuel Lewis to join together in community of one heart, one love. And we're in sweet opportunity times right now. And in the quarterly concentration, we wrote, what if the noise in the world is not a distraction from our path, but the very storm that calls us to return home? What if the amplification of division is, in fact, the impulse which allows the creative muse of peace to activate our potential as vessels of love, kindness, and healing in the world? Murshid Sam shared with us, verily, this is the sacred dance. I invite you to pause for a moment and connect with your breath and connect with your body as I offer these words from Murshid Sam. Verily, this is the sacred dance. Let us venture, pioneering as angels where fools fear to tread. When humankind is terrorized by conflict and laced with the ruin of their own civilization, when the power of wealth has dominated justice, let us, in spite of what occurs before our eyes, invoke the divine spirit through love and beauty, that we may restore order, balance to humanity. These words ring true for us. To offer ourselves as a creative vessel for that peace. One of my favorite Sam dances, or it's attributed to Murshid Sam, is the Peace Darood. Allahumma salli ala miftahi Darusalami. O Allah, send blessings upon the key of the abode of peace. Peace and blessings upon him, Muhammad. O Allah, send blessings upon the key of the abode of peace. I invite you to now let yourself, with a felt sense of your heart joining in this circle of breath and song, feel the key of peace within you. The key that unlocks the abode, the home within yourself. Allahumma salli ala miftahi Jerusalemi. Opening into that creative muse which is you. You are it. We are it. Allahumma salli ala miftahi Jerusalemi. And then let your doorway of your home, of your heart, open to the community members here, our companions on the path, and creating this home of peace. And then I invite you to open up to your communities that you represent, that you contribute to, that you collaborate with. Allahumma salli ala miftahi Jerusalemi. Let us breathe in together. The home, the abode of peace, and exhale. Since the time of Murshid Sam's transition, the dances have grown exponentially all over the world. Song and dance are filling all of our communities, creating the home of peace. I'm so grateful to be in this home with you all. Shabda, I gratefully pass the baton to you.
Wow. Greetings, salutations, my family. Thank you, Tajali. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Hayat. What a beautiful container. I think a good way for us to start, I queued up the movie of Murshid Sam called Dance to Glory. This is just a very small section of it. I hope you'll all get to see the whole movie, but this is a moment when Murshid is in his office. So many of you know about the house called the Mentor Garden, and this is in the Mentor Garden in the upstairs. It's the room next to the kitchen. That was his office at the time. And Murshid is dictating a very profound letter to his secretary. While those of you who know Murshid Wali Ali, who's not with us in the body anymore, and at the same time he's playing solitaire. It's it's hard to understand how it's quite possible to do what he's doing. But here you go. Let's go listen to Murshid. Here we go. Okay.
It is very necessary to end the wholesale slaughter of human beings by other human beings.
It is very...
Under the asinine assumption that only by such methods can peace be brought to the world. One believes...
Let me do it again.
Honestly and profoundly.
Hold on for a second. I want to start again. I want you to get... So it is very necessary to end the wholesale slaughter of human beings by other human beings under the asinine assumption that by doing such we can have peace. So let me. I was trying to stop the video, but I stopped it for you. Sorry. Here we go. Try again. Okay, and now here we go.
It is very necessary to end the wholesale slaughter of human beings by other human beings under the assonant assumption that only by such methods can peace be brought to the world. One believes honestly and profoundly in the statement of the messenger of God that Allah loves his creation more than a mother loves her offspring.
Wow. Just to share, I want to share a few stories with you. Certainly, I had the privilege to be with Murshid Sam in the body. I don't assume that because I knew him outwardly that I know him any better than, or as well as some of you who may have met him in your inner life and received guidance from him. I can say that, having met him 57 years ago, pretty much every day of my life is guided by him, guided under his umbrella, Hazrat and Ayesha Khan, many, many other influences, but under Murshid Sam's umbrella. But he had a very, very rich inner life. And then one day he said, I haven't really been able to dream, but every time I go to sleep, I see these dances, and I want to try them. And so when we would meet with him, we'd meet upstairs in the mentor garden in the front room where he would give lessons. And then we would often go for walks where he would teach us the walking practices and breathing practices. But now we were going to try the dances, and many of you have been in the downstairs of the mentor garden, the meeting room, which looks very beautiful. But at that time, it was more just a garage. There was no walls. It was just studs. It was a concrete floor. And it was a two-car garage where the two cars would line up like this. So it was long and narrow. And there were oil stains where the cars would be because of that, in the 60s, all cars leaked some oil. And he said, let's try this. And, 10, 15 people. And he said to us then that these dances are for the world. They're a gift for the world. We don't own them. And they're going to go around the world. And just like Tajali said, exponentially, he said that right then and there. He told us that every year after his passing, they would spread 2, 4, 8, like that, exponentially. And then even if I feel like when we had that 50th anniversary, now, whatever, 6 years ago, that we thought, they'd spread, and now there's another explosion of them spreading around the world. So it's so very, very, very moving. Okay, so next story, my first interview. So the dances, they were called Sufi dancing at the time. There was no, it was just part of being in this river of being a student of Sufism, of being a student of Sufi, of having a Murshid. There was any separation, and there wasn't the dances and then the mysticism. It was all one. But so I became his murid, and then I thought I should have an interview. Now naturally, when I became a Murid, he gave me practices, and he even had Wali Ali type out the practices, and I still have that sheet of paper where I've got my first practices from him that I was to do every day, and I still do them every day, and more. But this is now an interview, and I live in Marin County. That was still I lived in Marin County then, just north of San Francisco. And at that point in Murshid's life, he spent his week in two different places, one in the Mentor Garden, which most of you or many of you know, and the other was a house called the Garden of Inayat, and that was in what's called Novato, California. So it's about 10 minutes north of where I am now, and about a half hour, 40 minutes from the city. And he lived there. Moinuddin Fatima lived there. Hassan, JNR, Taj, and Mansour lived there with him. And that was the most convenient place. So I went there for my interview. And you have to imagine I'm very young. I'm in my early 20s, 21, 20, whatever it was, and very naive and not too wise. But I knock on the door. And usually, like if you'd have an interview with Murshid in the city, Wally was there as his secretary. He'd let you in and say, "Come in." And but in this case, Murshid answered the door. He was very, very cordial. So nice to see you. Please come in. Come into my office. How are you? Come into my office. We can sit down and have our interview. And we went into his office, and Murshid says to me, "Oh, why did you come to see me?" And like a foolish hippie, spaced out young person, I said, "Well, Murshid, I don't really have any questions. I just really felt called to come to see you." What did he do? He stood up. He said, "Well, thank you very much for coming to see me." And he walked out. And he was gone. Now, can you imagine what a bold way to teach that is? So clearly there I had questions. I've given thousands of interviews. I could say, half of them start in a similar way. "Oh, how are you? Everything's fine, and then, but after 15 minutes, people, and the questions start to come. So he didn't nursemaid me out of, to pull the questions out of me. He did just the opposite. He said, get in touch with your questions. So you can be sure the next time I had an interview with him, I had a list of questions I had written down. I was very, very together on that. Another story, this one I think is very, very moving, and I think many of you have heard this story, but I think it's worth telling. We're upstairs in the Mentor Garden, and Murshid's giving a class. You have to understand that Sunday night was Sufi night, Monday night was Dharma night, Sunday afternoon was the Sunday afternoon dance class. Tuesday was the Sufi choir rehearsal. Wednesday night was the main Dances of Universal Peace meeting at the San Francisco Theological Seminary here in Marin County. Thursday night was the Gatha program. Friday night was Sufi choir rehearsal. Saturday afternoon was the Saturday afternoon dance class, and Saturday night was the Saturday night advanced dance class. So who could work? It was a full program. But this is one of the evenings where he's teaching, and he's in the middle of teaching. It's a small room, the Mentor Garden, where maybe 25 people could sit at maximum. And he's talking away, and someone comes into the doorway, a deranged person, which wasn't uncommon at that time, completely deranged, and interrupts Murshid and says, "God has appointed me to be your spiritual teacher. He says that to Murshid. Now, just take a moment. What would, because many of you teach, and what would you do if someone who's nuts came in like that? God has appointed me to be your spiritual teacher. He says that to Murshid. So Murshid, again, stands up and he says, I accept on one condition. And the fellow says, well, okay, well, what's that? And he says, you show me one person in this room whom God hasn't appointed to be my spiritual teacher. The fellow sat down and attended class. It was just so very, very powerful. I'll give you one more story. I mean, I could go on a long time, but I think this will give you a sense of how he was under guidance and worked under guidance. Didn't work by his mind, but by his, when someone would say to him, Murshid, what do you think? I don't think. He'd say, I don't think, So there was something higher principle going on. But his chief disciple, Moinadine, who became our peer, Moinadine Jablonski. So Moinadine got very, very sick. And you have to know that Murshid told us again and again and again that, he had seen a Sufi symbol on his forehead and that he is going to be his successor and that he was his chief disciple. So there was no question for us, or at least for me. But in any case, Moinadine got very, very sick and he went into the hospital with what was the beginning of kidney disease. It wasn't kidney failure yet. That happened later, but that was the beginning. And Murshid never visited him. Could you imagine? Having like many of you are parents, and I think this would be like Murshid's son. He didn't visit him in the hospital. And then Moinadine was starting to leave. He was starting to die, or at least that's what the guidance Murshid felt. And he did go into the hospital. He walked into the room. You have to understand, I wasn't there, but shortly after that, Murshid traveled to New York City, where I welcomed him and was his attendant. So this is him telling me the story of what happened that day when he walked into Murshid's room, into Moinadine's hospital room. He says, I started yelling at him at the top of my lungs. I said to him, get the hell, I won't imitate Murshid because he was even, when he told me the story, it was loud, and says, get the hell out of this bed. You think you're going to heaven? You're going straight to hell. You want a job in a mattress factory? What's wrong with you? You have a mission. You have a wife and a family. Get out of this bed. If you don't get out of this bed, I'm going to beat you with my Zen stick. I don't care if the police come. Get out of this bed. And then he walked out. And as he's telling me this story, he starts to sob. And he says, this was the most difficult assignment I had in my whole life. Well, many more stories, but I thought I'd just conclude by, this is his bell. So let the sound go in, let Murshid in. let the spirit of guidance in. Feel so much gratitude. What a family we have. Oh my gosh. In a world that's so crazy and filled with hate. And here we are, we can hold hands as a family. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let me pass things on now to our dear sister Amira, who's in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, thank you, Shabda. Greetings of peace to all you beloveds. It's so wonderful to all be here together tonight. So I want to tell you a little bit about our ancestor, Ruth St. Denis, and in particular, her relationship with Murshid Sam. So our topic tonight is coming home to ourselves and our community. And I thought it was really appropriate to bring in Miss Ruth, as she was called. And Murshid Sam considered her to be the grandmother of the dances. So she was born in 1879. She was an artist, a poet, a dancer, and an author, as well as one of the founders of the American modern dance movement. In addition to being a performer, she gave many talks, wrote poetry, and published essays in which she expressed her philosophy of sacred dance, her belief in the role of women in peacemaking, her innate love of the earth, and her ever-present connection to the divine. So I'm going to try to show you a picture of how amazing she looked. That's on a beach in Morro, California, I believe. Can you all see it? Looks like she's standing on one toe on that rock. So now what I want to share is a little bit that has come from a book that was written by Murshid Kameh Miller. It was published in 1997. It's called Wisdom Comes Dancing. It's backwards on my screen. Is it backwards on your screen too? Okay, good. So I'm going to read you some quotes from what Murshid Kameh wrote in this book that I believe is the essence, the foundation, the very foundation of what we do in the dances. So it goes like this. Murshid Kameh says that the setting of all performances by Ruth St. Denis were based on the creation of a sacred atmosphere, including meditation before she danced. The creation of a sacred atmosphere. I think we all try to do that when we create space, we create sacred atmosphere in our dances. She goes on to say that Miss Ruth's main desire was that everyone, no matter age or ability, could have the opportunity to express their highest potential in dance, with no person being the star. The only measure of success being the opening of hearts to beauty and the sacredness of all. Again, what we try to create when we hold dances of universal peace. So in support of this, I'd like to share a little bit about an interview that Murshid Wali Ali did in 1971 with a lady named Vosha Fisk. Vosha was an academic, and she became an important figure in the spiritual counterculture of the time at that time. So I'm going to show you the quotes, and we can read them together.
Murshid called her Mother Divine.
Mother Divine.
Yeah, Vosha.
So this is what she said. Oops, let's get to this one. Can you all see Wali Ali's interview? I can't, but I have something I can read. So Vosha says, Mother Divine says, Ruth St. Denis met Murshid Sam around 1964, 1965. When he came to Hollywood, he always went to see her. He always felt very close to her and felt decidedly that she inspired him. In fact, gave him on another plane many of the dances that he taught the group here. I know that after he had been with her, he was invariably elated. Murshid said she taught him how to read dances out of the ether. So now I want to share with you, I'll stop that. I want to share with you some passages from Murshid Sam's diaries. And these short quotes indicate the profound respect that he had for her. So I'll share those too. We can read them together. Can you all see that? Okay, first quote. The dance of universal peace, first presented before the tomb of Salim Liechty in Fatehpur Sikra in India, was fully blessed by my late fairy godmother, Miss Ruth St. Denis. It is expanded into all sorts of dances, beginning with dervish dances. The next quote is, the work with dervish and yoga dances proceeds. It will be known that Ruth St. Denis had a direct influence, and there is now a legend going on in dance circles. He goes on to say, it was from this source, and also from my Dharma transmission of the late Miss Ruth St. Denis, that the inspiration of dances of universal peace came to me. And finally, he says, this lady has been my inspiration for years, and the spiritual dances of all faiths is attracting as much attention as one can possibly give. So there's much, much, much more to be said about this amazing lady, and a lot of it is in this book, Wisdom Comes Dancing, and also on the Mighty app, where we have the Dances of Universal Peace, which used to be the website. I don't know what to call it anymore. I call it the Mighty app. Sheikha Faranisa Rosa has written a beautiful essay about Ruth St. Denis that has a lot more information than I was able to give you in this short time period. So if this whets your interest, I invite you to jump in. She's really completely amazing. And there's a lot on the internet about her and her life and what she did, and even more so about what she did for the dances. But like he said, she's the grandmother of the dances. She advised that we set this sacred atmosphere and that we invite all to do as much as they can to express themselves in the name of peace. Thank you all for listening, for your attention. And I turn it over to NurAna and Hakam, who are going to teach us how to be songs of glory. I can't wait.
Thank you, Amira. Wonderful learning about Ruth St. Denis. And as you said, we're going to learn about being songs of glory. So greetings from Central Illinois. These are the words. Listen to them. Close your eyes maybe and breathe them.
And they're Sam's.
And these are Sam's words. Be songs of glory, that the light of Allah may shine upon the world. I'll read those again. Be ye songs of glory, that the light of Allah may shine upon the world. So, as I said, these are words of Murshid Sam, and they're from a longer poem, and he used them as instructions to his murids. So we're gonna sing and dance, and I invite you all. I'm probably gonna put my screen on gallery view, You can do what you want. The dance is pretty self-explanatory, but I love seeing people dancing with me, so I invite you to get up and dance.
Songs of glory, be songs of glory, that the light of the Lord may shine on the world. Be songs of glory, be songs of glory, that the light of the Lord will shine upon the world. This is arms on shoulders. Songs of glory, these songs of glory, that the light of the Lord may shine upon the world. So feel the shoulders. These songs of glory, these songs of glory, that the light of the Lord may shine upon the world. Songs of glory, these songs of glory, that the light of the Lord may shine upon the world. In silence, on the breath. Spreading your light. Feeling the circle, feeling the family. Songs of glory, these songs of glory, that the light of the Lord may shine upon the world. These songs of glory, these songs of glory, that the light of the Lord may shine upon the world. We're going to do this 3 more times. Songs of glory, these songs of glory, that the light of the Lord may shine upon the world. These songs of glory, these songs of glory, that the light of the Lord may shine upon the world. Last time. These songs of glory, these songs of glory, that the light of the Lord may shine upon this world. Breathing those words in. Feeling them as direct instruction, considering how we can be songs of glory. When we meet the mailman, when we go grocery shopping, when we talk to our spouse, to our children, this is the way we shine our light in the world. Amen. And I'm going to turn it over to Sema.
Thank you so much. That was nice to dance during this gathering. Definitely necessary. Can you hear me all right? Okay. Hi, I'm Sema. I started practicing the dances in Boulder with Timothy, and then didn't realize till later that they were part of Ruhaniyat stuff when I moved to Hawaii and got to practice a lot with Layla and Basira, who I later took as my teacher and guide. And so even today, hearing all these stories, like other pieces are always continuing to come together. And so I just feel really blessed for that. And like Shabda said, there's always guidance for me coming from Sam that I'm starting to be able to actually accept more in my heart. And I just want to name in this moment, I'm a little nervous and kind of getting over a cold. So I'm going to be sharing a personal story. And when we're sick, right, we have a little bit of a foggy mind. So I hope my story makes sense and that the essence of Sam comes through it. Um, but yeah, for a long time, about 10 years or more, I've been hearing this call of the dances to share them. It was more like a whisper and a gentle guidance. And then this last year, I went to the Lama Next Generation gathering at Lama Foundation with Shabda and many other people of the next generation. And we had this lovely gathering. And I had been to the Lama Foundation very briefly, but I hadn't spent much time at the Dargah. And I was completely blown away. I've also been blessed, years before, said yes to the call to go to India with Pir Shabda. And somewhere along my journey, I got the call to also go to Fatehpur Sikri and dance at Salim Chisti's Dargah. And I didn't know, I just figured that out tonight that that was a piece of all this. But at the Dargah blessing and this gathering, I just heard so many great stories from people who had been with Sam and about this like strong, bold, wild character that he was. And this, he had this deep love for the children that I also share with him, and deep love for astrology and some of these things that I just didn't know about him. So it was really beautiful to learn some of those things and also to remember that it's okay if you have a big, bold character and maybe are weird or, crazy. And that he's just such a beautiful example of that. So needless to say, it was one of the last nights at Lama, and I had just talked with some beloveds on the path about, just some deep, beautiful conversations, as we know happen at these different dances of peace camps that we go to and stuff. And so feeling really tender, it was the last night. I stumbled out into that main room of the dome and found the book Toward the One by our beloved Hazrat Inayat Khan and Pir Inayat Khan. It's very similar to the Be Here Now book by Ram Dass, but almost like our version. If it's out of print, but if you can find it, it's incredible. So reading that, I got some really clear downloads that night to go sleep at the Dargah. And a lot of fear, like I was making my way up there, I brought my sleeping bag and my mat and my tasbih that I had just been given by Basira. And she has this thing where she makes tasbih for her students sometimes. And I've already broken one in the past and I already lost one in the past. And so I was like, this one's like really, really important. And it's also extra special because it has blessed beads from Pir Shabda's teacher, Pandit Pranath, his music teacher from India, a very special being, a guru, a deep heart of wisdom. So these beads are like triple special, right? And I'm clutching them all night in my fear and just praying for Sam to be gentle with me. I'm like, don't come to me as a ghost. Like, I'm not ready for this. Like, be gentle with me. And I think that was more the fear. Like, I live in Colorado. I've slept near bears and other things. I wasn't afraid of any of that. I was more like afraid of like Sam's bold spirit being with me or something. So I prayed for this gentleness, and I had this beautiful night, but also approached a lot of things inside me. And then in the morning, another beloved was coming up to spend time with Sam. So I packed up my things and kind of like scooted to the side. And for like 20 minutes, I was looking for the beads. They're like not in the sleeping bag. Like that's all I had was the sleeping bag. So I'm like shaking it out. I'm looking in all the pockets and there's the beads are like gone. And I'm like freaking out, right? I'm like, oh, Basira's gonna be mad at me. I'm being all hard on myself. I'm also like, what the heck, Sam? I was praying with them all night. And so I get really hard on myself. I'm trying to like find peace and calm. And I kind of go over to this other little dwelling and trying to like, okay, non-attachment, what's the lessons here, praying to him. And just finally, when you let go, you make peace with something. I really made peace that that they were gone or like was closer to that. And all of a sudden I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to like go back and my friends might ask me how my night went at the Darga, and I'll have to tell them about this bead story. And I'm like, let me check the sleeping bag one more time. So I open the sleeping bag one more time, and then there are the beads. And then my being, I can just like hear Sam like laughing with me at me, like of course I wouldn't take your beads and like but they just turned up like it was really, really magical, and I can't it's hard to explain, but it was very, very real to me. His humor and his reminding me that like the practices are always there on my breath, that I don't need these beads, and that it's all right here living inside of us. And so many more beautiful downloads from that. But I just wanted to share that beautiful story that his spirit is alive and well, and it is being transmitted to other generations. And we hope to carry these dances because I've never felt something like so strong. It's just what I feel like we are alive for, is to share in peace and love with each other, and to dance and sing and be free and really know peace and not just talk about it from the mind. So thank you very much for letting me share my personal story tonight. And I also am very inspired by Ruth St. Denis. So I was just going to read a quick little quote by her it's like two quotes that I kind of put together, but yeah, like we talked about, she was this loving fairy godmother, he would call her. And he would say that she could draw from the cosmos music and dances right out of the heart of God. That's what Sam would say about her. And then I thought it was interesting that she passed the year that he first presented the dances. I'm pretty sure that's true, in 68. But she said, the real message of the dance opens up vistas of life to all who have the urge to express beauty with no other instrument other than their own bodies. Dance, as I see it, is used as communication between body and soul to express what is too deep to find in words. And I close with her other words as a prayer for us, that she says, may we rise higher in the understanding of ourselves, forgetting the national and racial dissonances in a universal rhythm of truth and love. Thank you. Toward the one. And I would like to have Ayesha go next. She's coming from Portland today and has some practices to share with us.
Thank you, Sema. And I love your words about Sam being a strong, bold, wild character. Yeah, I experienced that particular type of personality when I started on this path. And I was almost at the age of being a something-year-old hippie. I could have gone to Berkeley, but I wouldn't have, you just have to be tuned in to Sam in different ways. So without going on very much more, I spent some time with my first Sufi guide in the East Coast listening to Sam's voice. So Hayat, let's cue up that short audio. And this is about power, love, and peace. Because listening to his voice was what softened me to what I saw as this wild, bold character that Sema was talking about. Okay.
A loan, which looks like power, which you have to pay back.
We'll start it over. Hayat, can we start that over? We just heard the last bit of it. Please.
I know, I forgot I needed to be unmuted.
Oh, that's okay.
We weren't sharing directly.
Yeah, and I changed the order.
You more power. You know, more power comes from two things: love and peace. These are the two things that give you power. Don't think anything else gives you power. They don't. They give you a loan, which looks like power, which you have to pay back to the bank of life. I'm too bad I haven't read the records on. I put that down.
That's great. Thank you, Hayat. And for me, listening to this man's voice that I saw as just a little too intrusive, maybe that would be a word, or a little too wild, before I started to get to experience him on different levels. But the other piece that I'm not going to do, but Murshid Sam has some breathing practices, and we breathe in love and we breathe out love. And then we breathe in joy and we breathe out joy. And the last piece of it is to breathe in peace and we breathe out peace. So I'll let you take those home with you and try them out. And I've got a couple of short readings from Sunrise in the West. It's the latest book about Samuel Lewis. I cannot say I have read the whole thing because as I have only read bits and pieces, but there are some amazing stories in here. I'm going to read you from the last chapter, chapter 16, the last two paragraphs. The last chapter is called Growing Renown. This is Wali Ali and Moinadine saying after Sam's death, he's still here. He's still here. Murshid Sam's brilliant, magnetic voice can be heard through the lives of many to this day. This hadith appears at his dargah at the Lama Foundation. On that day, the sun will rise in the west, and all who see will believe. It clearly stands for the birth of the new age in Murshid's realization. And if you've been up to Lama Foundation, you've seen that sign. The last paragraph here says, the name Sufi Ahmad Murad signifies one who is endeavoring to fulfill his life's purpose. After Sam's passing, Sufi Barkat Ali gave him a new name, Sufi Ba Murad, meaning one who has accomplished his life's goals. So I thought that was pretty amazing. The other short reading is from the next chapter, which is called Afterward. So last chapter and then afterward. And I think it's pretty fun that the first piece of this afterward chapter has a couple pictures of the new dargah at Lama Foundation. But I'm going to take the very last few lines from this afterward, page 669 of Sunrise in the West. And it says, Murshid Sam's manifestation of inclusive universal spirituality was and is a beacon that continues to light the way for old and young seekers from any religious background or none, followers all of the path of truth and love. And I love this, this image of a beacon of light continuing to light the way for old and young seekers. That's all of us, from all backgrounds or none. And then there's a beautiful picture of a heart with wings. I don't know if I can show that here. Yeah. And I am going to pass the baton, so to speak, back to Pir Shabda. Thank you.
Greetings. We're going to share the kalama, but just before we do that, I thought I'd just share one more little piece. I'd been traveling with Murshid Sam in the East Coast, and when I was looking at the screen, we stayed at in a home in Boston of a woman named Azima Schreiber, and she's on the screen. So Azima, welcome, and thank you for being such a great host for us. But we came back to San Francisco. It was right after Thanksgiving, so it was he fell December 28th down the stairs. So it was a very short time after coming back from this 5 weeks of traveling. And he was in his lessons at the Mentor Garden. He was sharing his commentary on Inayat Khan's text called Akibat, Life After Death, Sam's commentary, Akibat. And the one thing he kept repeating, that at least that I heard him keep repeating, was the connection between the teacher and the student is in no way dependent on one or the other being in the body. So I'm not surprised at all at what deep relationships all of you, each of us have with this great spirit of guidance in the form of this very short, strong, powerful voice called Murshid Samuel Lewis. There's only one guide, the guide of all souls. We call her the spirit of guidance, but we're so grateful to have Murshid's guide. So this is the Kalama dance, which was like the signature dance. Pretty much for the first, 20, 30 years, every dance meeting, everywhere, always closed with the Kalama dance. But I'll tell you one quick story about it too. So this is a dance that Murshid started, so it's one of his original dances. I have a theory about it that there's a very beautiful song that's almost like a national anthem for every Muslim country called "Song to the Prophet." La ilaha illallah, and it's a song that was sung when the Prophet and his companion Abu Bakr had to escape Mecca, and he came to Medina. And when they arrived in Medina, all the town came, and the women came, especially with instruments, and sang this song, "Song to the Prophet." And it's the song that the Sufis always say, look, how could there be a restriction on music? The Prophet loved music. And so, La ilaha illallah, or La ilaha. So my sense is that Murshid was so deeply impressed by the Song to the Prophet when he was living in Pakistan and in Egypt. I mean, it's in every Muslim country. And he brought it back and created the Kalama dance, and that, for me, why it has so much barakah and so much, went so deep and profoundly. Last story about it. So a lot of you learned the counterpoint, Allah, Allah, Muhammad Rasulullah, and so on. So that was written by his maestro, Alauddin Matthew. Many of you know him. He's still alive, and he's in his late 80s. A brilliant, brilliant musician and director of the Sufi choir. So now, Murshid used to say to us, as far as I'm concerned, Allah means being on time. He was very punctual. He was always early, to be honest. He always came early because he felt it was a sign of respect. You'd made an agreement. And so now Murshid is gone. Gone, left the body. Sorry, and Moinadine's leading the Gotha class at that house I told you where I went for the interview at the Garden of Inayat, and Alauddin Matthew, who wrote the counterpoint, he's late. He's late for the meeting, and he knows that Moinadine's just like Sam, very punctual, and he's really nervous, and he's coming up the walkway and going up the stairs, and then he has this feeling and he has this thought, a sense of relief. They're singing the song I wrote, the counterpoint to the Kalima. They're singing the song I wrote. And he said it was the first time Murshid appeared to him, and Murshid appeared to him laughing and says, he thinks he wrote it. So we're going to pass it around, and I know you could go on gallery view, you can sing with us, take out your instruments, dance, whatever you like. Seems so strange to sing it all by myself, but I know you're singing with me. You have to turn on original sound for musicians. I'll take a beat. You go change your settings, and then we'll come back to you. Go mute yourself and turn on original sound for musicians. La, 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 la. Try not playing guitar, just sing. Try stop the guitar, just sing. Stop the guitar. Stop playing guitar, just sing. Try that. Okay, let's go to gallery view and so we can sing to each other. Come on. La ilaha I'm going to pass it back to our dear Jennifer, our chiefess, our convener. Thank you. Thank you. So wonderful to be with you all. How grateful I am and how grateful we all are for having such an extraordinary family to live our life and to try to fulfill our purpose, to try to be useful, to bring loving kindness into the world, and to wake up. Jennifer, close us down or complete the circle.
So, wow, what an amazing program. So just taking this moment to honor all that was shared together in this space, in this sacred atmosphere, in this tender, tender time on our planet. Breathing in whatever it is that we are needing ourselves, that we received, and allowing that to just nurture our whole beings. And letting it infuse each and every cell so that we may be the vessels of love, harmony, and beauty. Fulfilling this message in the world. Amen. I wanted to share just a very brief story myself. When I was at the Parliament of the World's Religions in Chicago a few years ago, I took a cab, and there was a man driving the cab who had just moved here from Saudi Arabia. And he was wondering why I was there, and I shared with him the purpose that I was there to offer the dances of universal peace at the Parliament. And he asked me to sing a song, and I sang the Kalima. And he started telling me about Song to the Prophet. And it was such a beautiful exchange. And with Shabda's sharing, I just wanted to share how amazing and precious it is that we have this practice that connects us with our, not only our beloved dance and Sufi family, but the family of humans all over the world. There's so many amazing connections that weave together to help us be the vessels of peace that we really long to be, that brought us here. So I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for being here. With these quarterly concentration Zoom gatherings, we actually never know what the program is going to look like. We share a concentration with the community, and then we invite you all to step forward. Anyone who would like to lead something, anyone who feels inspired by the theme. And it's always just this beautiful spirit of guidance, opportunity. And the program unfolds in that way. And so today's program was no exception. It was just a really beautiful, heartfelt sharing. And so I want to say thank you again to all the presenters who stepped forward. Can we put them on Spotlight, Hayat? Can we put everyone on the screen? It'd be really great if we could all just offer our love and gratitude for everyone who came forward to share with the community today. So I want to say the names again. Amira in Atlanta, NurAna and Hakam in Central Illinois, Pir Shabda in California, Sema, who's from Colorado but currently in New Jersey, and Tajali in Virginia, Ayesha in Oregon, and also Robin and Michael in Madison, Wisconsin. Want to note that Robin's also one of our beloved board members. And Hayat, of course, our technical host and beautiful.
Is Amira still here? She's not on the screen.
I'm sorry?
I was just getting Hayat to put Amira up.
Oh, Amira. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm finding her.
Great job.
We're sorting through the beautiful participant list here. And I also just want to give a shout out to Ted Ryle, who's one of our beloved board members for DUPNA. I saw that he's also here. And so thank you so much, Ted. And we have everyone on the screen. So we can offer Ya Fataz to our beloved friends here. Thank you so much for offering your hearts with us today. Breathing in and sending out. Ya Fatah. Ya Fatah. Ya Fatah. We're going to put just a little blurb in the chat box for anyone who'd like to learn more about DUP North America. And we have a new website. It's dupna.org. We would love for you to share a donation if this was meaningful for you tonight. And there's instructions. If we get the blurb in there, there's a direct link. And Tajali, would you like to share?
Yes, there's been a request that we share all the quotes and I'm saying yes, we will figure out how to share the quotes, maybe in our next newsletter or just maybe in a general mailing with everyone. So anybody who shared a quote, please send it to Jen or myself.
If all the presenters can send me their quotes, then I can, when I send the video out, I can include the quotes. So that would be great. So we can definitely do that.
And you want it to exec director at dupna.org, is that right?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Okay, friends. This would be a good time for us to go on gallery view and share may all beings be well, may all beings be happy. Peace, peace, peace. Rising up all of our prayers, all of our love, all of our aspirations. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. And you're welcome to unmute on the piece. Have our orchestra of voices.
Hey, Marley, come on in. Right. Well, parrots are difficult to diagnose, but
Hi,
it's
Pablo.
possible it could be cysticercosis.
Thank
It's
you,
an infectious disease,
everyone.
very common.
It was beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Love.
Blessings to all. You're welcome to unmute and send your love around if you'd like.
Yeah, Shakur.
Hi, Pavla.
Hello, hello. Hello.
Great to see you, Pavla.
Blessings
Great to
all
see you,
around.
Betty.
Blessings to all.
Good everybody.
See everyone.
It's always so much fun to have everybody's faces right there.
Oh. Oh, her? How do I do that?
Oh, you have to get your head.
Good to see you, Marley.
Hi, Marley.
How do I get out? He's asking.
How do I get out? You just leave. There's a leave button at the bottom.
How do I get out?
Hey, Sema, do you remember me from?
Yeah, I was gonna say hi. I do. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. It's so good to see you. I'm so glad you could be here.
Yeah.
This was wonderful.
Hey, are you gonna be at the Jamiat in April?
Maybe. Well, God willing. I'm not sure yet, but I'll think about it more.
Oh, come to the Jamiat. This is Portland,
Okay.
Oregon.
I'm gonna be going to the Jamiat.
Okay, April.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
It's the I'm trying to remember them off the top of my head.
Near
It's
the end?
yeah, near the end of April.
Great. Okay, I